In the late 1870s, Frank Woolworth worked in a small grocery store when he came up with the idea to set up a table and fill it with unsold merchandise. He priced everything at 5 cents, and shoppers couldn't help but buy the items. The idea turned out to be very successful. The 5-cent counter craze encouraged Woolworth to open up his own store, selling 5-cent items in Utica, New York in 1878. Woolworth's great 5-cent store failed to be successful, but that did not stop Woolworth. Using the same sign from the Utica store, Woolworth opened another store in Lancaster, Pennsylvania in 1879. This time the store had an expanded section to include 10-cent items. The Lancaster store proved to be a winner and was one of the first stores to put the merchandise in front of the customer rather than relying on a store clerk. Soon, Woolworth and his partners were opening up stores all over Pennsylvania. With success in Pennsylvania, the group quickly expanded to New York. In 1909, Woolworth brought his store to Liverpool, England, and opened a British branch. By 1912, there were almost 600 stores, and the stores were all incorporated under the name of F.W. Woolworth Company. One year later, in 1913, Frank Woolworth moved his executive offices to the Woolworth Building in Manhattan, which he had commissioned to be built a few years earlier. It was actually the tallest building in the world from 1913 to 1930, and still lists in the top 100 tallest buildings in the world today. For many years, the company did a strictly 5 and 10 cent business, but keeping prices low became a challenge in the 1930s. In 1932, it added a 20-cent line of merchandise. In 1935, the company's directors decided to discontinue price limits altogether. The era of buying with pocket change was over. The stores eventually incorporated lunch counters after their success in England. These popular lunch counters served as a general gathering place, and even a place to get an ice cream at their soda fountain. A Woolworth's lunch counter in Greensboro, North Carolina, even became the setting for some of the first sit-ins during the Civil Rights Movement. This former store is now on the National Register of Historic Places. The 1960s brought competition from Kmart, Walmart, and Target. In response, Woolworth decided to open a new chain of larger-sized stores under the name Woolco and other smaller specialty shops found mostly in malls. In 1963, Woolworth expanded into the shoe store business with the purchase of Kinney Shoe Corporation. By Woolworth's 100th anniversary in 1979, it had become the largest department store chain in the world. Eventually, competition from the bigger chain stores and changing social dynamics led Woolworth to begin closing and selling its stores. By 1997, all of them were gone.